Before we start off and we start booking some live shows for you to do, there's something that I really want to cover, and that is the core fundamentals of branding. Now, branding itself, it's a very loose term that a lot of people use. You know, like, if you want to build yourself as a brand, then you have to have all this different type of stuff. And a lot of people that make a lot of rules, and I mean, I kind of am the same way when it comes to branding, but it's very give and take. There are a lot of exceptions to the rules, but the more of these rules that you follow, or I guess guidelines, the better the results it's going to be when it comes to building your brand. Okay? Now, we want a memorable name for ourselves, because all branding is not the name itself, but what is associated to that name. And you might be thinking, I want my brand to be this, but that's not always the case. Matter of fact, more likely than not, that's not the case. The brand name itself, or whatever business that you have, it's not what you want it to be. It's what everyone else is talking about behind your back about that name. Okay? Now, there's a lot of people that might be thinking, okay, I want to separate myself from my brand. And although there's things like faceless YouTube channels now with, the rise of AI, but I'm telling you this now, your name is your brand. Like in the 48 Laws of Power, your name means everything, so protect it and guard it with your life, okay? So, but you don't want to get too fixated on it, because there's only so much you can control. If you're always controlling about what other people are thinking about your brand, then it's just going to overwhelm you. And we don't want that either. So, in today's video, I'm going to show you the core fundamentals of just making a name that's just going to stick. And then it's up to you to build the execution to that name and build up the marketing on however you want to have it. So here are some, guidelines that you should probably abide by. And one is that it has to roll off the tongue and it has to be easy to say. If I say, I was looking through ChatGPT, which is what we're going to be using later. If it doesn't roll off the tongue and if it's hard to say, then people will fumble when they say it, or when you're promoting yourself, you'll fumble sometimes when you say it, or you might say it, but other people can't, and it's just like, it's that much harder. So what I mean is when I put my name into ChatGPT, Drew, and then I have it spit out a bunch of names, then one of the things it could be Drew the Determined, right? And say that 5 times fast. Drew the Determined. See, I can't even do it that way, right? So I've created a brand for myself, separated from, coaching musicians and, coaching people with dating. And that is, and I'm going to show you this, Chubby Cucumber. Okay? Now notice that Chubby Cucumber is so easy to say. It's an alliteration, meaning it starts with the same letter 2 times, Chubby Cucumber. Both start with C, okay? And then it doesn't end it with S, because, and I'm going to cover a lot of other things, but when a name brand ends with an S, sometimes when you're, say, doing a podcast or whatever, S gets cut off. Like to make the video, or when you make the audio shorter. And that's just how it is. That's just like an editing trick. And say you might be thinking, well, there's like brands like Snickers, and that's true. But also, you have to remember, S can mean plural. Okay, so Snickers is one word. It means one item. But we know it's not plural because of the brand associated with it. Mars, right? As I'm contradicting the big name brands, I hope you understand that you probably don't have the name of Snickers or Mars. So if you do have ending with an S, you have to make sure that it really sticks. Like my friend's name is Harder. Harders. Okay? So someone's last name can be Harder or Harders. Okay? So when it comes to stuff like that, if you have your website, right? www.harders.com, then to associate yourself with that, to get people to when you're rattling off, oh yeah, go to my website, harders.com, right? Don't go to that website. Who knows? It's probably like some porn website if it's Harders or Harder. But you would want to buy the domain twice, one with the S and one without the S. So, and then redirect them into the same spot. Because like the way that the way that plural works, that's just English. And that's another guideline when it comes to like rolling off the tongue. And also, like the identity that you put behind it. Someone that adds a bunch of just letters after their name, and I'm not talking about doctors. Obviously, if you have like, you know, PhD, then you can put that, or Dr. Dre, okay, Dr. But are you going to, and when it comes to social media and when it comes to your website, is it going to be spelt out doctor or is it going to be Dr.? And that's something that I see when it comes to YouTube videos or like YouTubers that are doctors, like Dr. Mike. Sometimes when he's doing sponsored videos, he says, you know, go to this website /Dr. Mike to get my sponsor code. And remember that doctor is spelt out. Now, we can cut off that whole doctor spelt out part by just not even having it in the first place. Obviously, if you're a doctor, then maybe you should have it on your title, right? So that is something to take into consideration when you're thinking about branding itself. Now, also, if you want to brand your name, okay, like my name, Andrew Schroeder, but a lot of people, they don't know how to spell Schroeder. Do you? Right off the bat? It's Schroeder. A lot of people forget the C, and a lot of people forget the first E in Schroeder. And for some reason, people always like Starbucks, like maybe about a fourth of the time, they spell my name Drue or Dru when I say my name is Drew. That's just fast food for you. Okay? So, but when I say Drew Success Coach, listen, if you don't know how to spell Drew, I probably don't want your business in the first place. It's spelled like the past tense of draw, right? So this kind of stuff, I hope it's not overwhelming you. It's not that big of a deal. And like I said, it's what you associate to that name that is more important than the name itself. Okay? It's the execution. When you got to think of the way that media portrays 50 Cent, and a lot of the times when he does something that's really controversial, the media, they want to paint rappers as a really bad thing to do and be, right? So in his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, which is something that I totally recommend that you check out and reading, because he covers all about business when it comes to like how he made it, which those methods don't really work anymore. He was just like handing out his CDs to, like, he was giving his CDs to burners for people to burn to get the word out, which that doesn't work anymore because, you know, people don't really do the whole burning CDs thing anymore, right? We got streaming now. But when it comes to when he's doing when there's when he's in the news for controversy, it's 50 Cent. But when he's doing the, $200 million like vitamin water deals, all of a sudden it's not 50 Cent, it's Curtis Jackson, the entrepreneur, right? So when you're associating yourself in the media, sometimes just having a stage name like 50 Cent is just enough to get out of a jail-free card, right? When you're being canceled. No, that was the character. I was in character when I was doing that, but this is me. I'm not really like that in real life. Okay. Now, this is what I mean when I say easy to remember. Easy to remember brand names. Look at my name, Drew Success Coach. And the reason why I chose Drew Success Coach is, well, maybe a couple of months ago, I had Drew Life Coach or Drew B Life Coach. And the reason why I chose Drew Success Coach over Drew B Life Coach is because Drew B sounds more of like a pet name that my girlfriend gives me. So I don't want everyone calling me Drew B, especially guys. That'd be kind of weird, at least, for me. And then, Drew Life Coach. The reason why I chose Success Coach is because the training that I've had through Tony Robbins' course, the Core 100 program, on how to be a success coach and how to be a life coach, is I teach people I coach people from A to B. And you might be thinking, well, what about life coach, right? That's all areas of life, which is what I can coach on. And that is true. But through my experience over the last couple of months, I had to, it's an easy switch, go from life to success coach, because a lot of people, they associate life coach to spirituality, and I am an atheist. And so I was just drawing in a lot of theists, not that there's anything wrong with that, but they were expecting more spirituality rather than the actual practicality behind getting you from A to B. Not that there's anything wrong with spirituality. I am an atheist, but the coaching that I have, you won't get any spirituality out of me. I'm just here out of practicality. Step 1, step 2, do this, you will be successful. Not the whole, let's sit here and pray, let's sing Kumbaya. GaryVee is what he brands himself as. GaryVee. Okay. Then we go here and look, GaryVaynerchuk.com. Now, why is that? And that is because GaryVee is easier to spell, VEE, more than Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, if you look on any social media, like YouTube, for example, GaryVee on YouTube, where does it go? GaryVee. And I can guarantee you, I'm not going to go through all of the different social media, but I can guarantee you that that is the one thing, because when you first know Gary Vaynerchuk, when you first get introduced to him, if he shows up on your For You page, or if he shows up on Shorts, or, you hear about him from a friend, and you want to look him up, just type in GaryVee, VEE, and it's a lot easier to spell. And it's almost like it's a gateway drug into Gary Vaynerchuk. So now that we know who he is, and we find out about his Vayner Media, which is kind of like a middle point, which is his, marketing brand, because he teaches marketing and branding. It's that Vayner. Okay, so now we know V, then Vayner, and then we, through watching all of his videos, you find out his name is Vaynerchuk. And whether you learn how to spell his last name or not, it's still GaryVee on all social media. And I don't have to type all of that out. I just got to type in VEE, and that's it. I wonder if I just type in VEE, if that will just show up in Gary Vaynerchuk. Hey, look at that. Second result, third result, fourth result, fifth result. He's all over the place. So that's that. Next is Chubby Cucumber. Notice that Chubby Cucumber on all social media. I don't have the underscore. I don't have periods. That's because not all websites, like when it comes to YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, that notice that my profile picture is all the same, for one. That's super important, because if someone really likes my brand and they want on YouTube and they want to check me out on TikTok, then guess what? It's the same logo. And if you haven't already, like, this is just a silly, stupid humor vegan cooking show that I do, that's gathered, millions and millions of views, and I've gathered sponsorships and stuff like that from that. It's just a fun little thing that I like to do. Okay, so when you are choosing a stage name, this is what you do, right? Make sure that there's no underscores, no numbers, or any letters or periods, because not all websites are going to be able to do that, or apps. And you want everything to match, so that way when you are looking people up, or if you're like on stage and you're like, okay, everyone just go follow me at Chubby Cucumber, you don't have to say, I'm at Chubby Cucumber on YouTube, and on TikTok, I am Chubby_Cucumber1, and on Facebook, I am Chubby Cucumber 1169. And then we don't want that. We want one uniform name that you can stick by. And that's why I didn't settle with Drew Success Coach until I found out that I can own Drew Success Coach on all social media. And same thing with Chubby Cucumber. The reason why I chose Chubby Cucumber itself is because, me personally, I am not vegan. It's a vegan cooking show, right? But veganism itself is activism. That's all it is. It's activism it's activism for animal rights, right? And me personally, my beliefs are, I don't really care what anyone else eats or does. I just believe that if as long as you're not hurting anyone else, you're fine. And like, people are going to take that as they want when it comes to animal rights and stuff. But me personally, I try not to stuff my beliefs down other people's throats. So I chose not to be vegan. I live a plant-based lifestyle. I've been doing it for over 8 years. So, and this, by the way, this whole branding thing, this goes for music as well. We're not going to be just talking about, Chubby Cucumber, but it's super important to have also. So this is how I came up with the name Chubby Cucumber, right? For one, when it comes to Chubby Cucumber, I didn't want it chubby vegan, right? Because what if I stop being vegan? Then I have to rebrand, and I don't want to do that, right? And then also I chose, cucumber is kind of funny, but I was thinking like chubby eggplant, that's got an innuendo to it. But the association when it comes to social media, especially on YouTube, if you put a eggplant on your thumbnails, or if you put it an emoji on your in your title somewhere, then YouTube will actually suppress your videos. And I knew that back in the day. So, and not to mention, I was just rambling in the gym, just coming up with some names with a friend. And then I was like, Chubby Vegan, that was taken. Chubby Panda, that was taken on like Instagram, I believe. And then I was like, Chubby Eggplant, because it's supposed to be like a cooking show, junk food. See? Comfort food, vegan cooking show, right? So that's why I chose Chubby. And then I was like, Chubby Panda. Pandas are really cute, but I'm not going to be sticking to just Asian cuisine, which, pandas are known for their Asian cuisine, especially with like Panda Express and stuff like that. Although I love Asian food. And also, pandas, I believe, are also plant based. So that could have worked, but it wasn't taken on. It was taken on some social media, and I want that uniform name across everything. So, I just like Chubby Cucumber, and then it's aha, there we go. I said it's an alliteration. It's easy to say. It's to roll off the tongue. It gets everyone to laugh. So that makes it a very rememberable name, and that's how I came up with it. And then through the process of switching things out, I made a logo, which I took this photo in I believe it was Disneyland or Universal. I think it was Universal Studios. That's actually a Simpsons donut. And then I just cropped out the back, and then I added a color that's associated with veganism, which is like a light green. And then I just put it on social media, and there you go. And now it's matching on everything, and I love it. Now, another thing that's super important when it comes to branding, and that is your domain name. So what I did was Chubby Cucumber. Now, specifically whois.com, it's really good. So when you pick out your name, your stage name or your handle, and I also have to, so Chubby Cucumber is not available, which because I own it. Whois.com is how you can look to see if your stage name.com is available. Com means company, if you didn't already know. Net means network. Org means organization. So you kind of don't want those if you're going to be like having a music thing. .store, that's pretty popular. Like Mr. Beast, he has his, Mr. Beast.store, I believe it is, but now he has MrBeast.com. And then, so Chubby Cucumbers, if I wanted that S that I was talking about, that is available. Please don't buy it because I will be getting a trademark on this pretty soon. And so that comes down to Chubby Cucumber, okay? And that's how I came up with the name. And that's how I, now I do sponsors and I get tens of thousands, if not millions of views on my TikToks because of the name that I put behind it, and also the videos, the vlogs, the taste testing and stuff like that. Okay. Now, also when it comes to Instagram, is notice how I have my bio, right? It's not all messy. It's very bullet points associated with my brand, and I help new vegans make delicious food. That's all. Plant-based chef. Okay. Now, Drew Success Coach. Who I am, Las Vegas club promoter for 11 plus years. I coach musicians in the industry, trade secrets, branding, and exposure. As easy as that, right? And then for my highlights, I have, when someone first lands on my page, they know that I've done all these promos and they can go through all of them. They can see that I've hosted an off-white party, which was really fun. The time that I went to the Billboard Awards, that's like a vlog. That's, pretty impressive for a lot of people, that I sat behind Drake. And then the times that I've gone backstage with Tiesto, G-Eazy, the R.L. Grime, the Little John. And if you've noticed, like the people, the girls, that's my... That's Galena, my ex-wife. And then, let's see, is it in this one? Yes. So I got like 27 blondes here with me. So this is just with, when it comes to associating with my brand as soon as people land on my Instagram page. Okay. Now, now that we have this, we've covered bio, we've covered highlights. Also, what's going to be happening soon is like not just all promotions, which is like an advertising for myself, but also like a lead magnet. And also there's also leads, not just leads, but the starting your funnel with, chubbycucumber.com, right? So people go to this website rather than some link tree, because when it comes to branding and marketing, you want as less steps as possible for people to make a purchase or to get what they want. I have made a prompt just for you. This video, or this prompt, is right below this video. All you have to do is copy it, put it in ChatGPT 4 or the latest whatever it is, and hit enter. And then it will spit it out and give you exactly what you want. Okay, these are excellent considerations and guidelines for a stage name. Now, when it comes to ChatGPT, you can't just prompt this out and it'll spit out some stuff for you. When it comes to new things, okay, you have to prompt it a few times, because if you just say, my name is Drew and this is what I want for a stage name, right? You have to load it up first with a bunch of information, because ChatGPT is a conversation that you have with AI. So now that I've prompted it the first time and it told me what it is, this is great guidelines for a stage name. You have to thank it so it knows that it understood. Okay. And then you can say, my name is Drew. I am a battle rapper from Las Vegas. I draw my inspiration from Tupac, Eminem, and let's see, 2 Chainz. By the way, I don't have a single musical bone in my body. This is just all branding and like business side of things. I've never rapped before. But today I get to find out what my rap name is. Okay. So, let's see. I am originally from Detroit. I love to rap about happiness and success. I'm just making stuff up at this point. And then like you get the point. You fill it out on whatever you want. I love to diss Drake. Give me 5 suggestions from each category. And that's all it really is. Make sure that you thank ChatGPT, you say your name, and then maybe some, like a little bit of bio about yourself that ChatGPT can come off of, right? Maybe you can add like neon lights, and then, because I was thinking like Las Vegas and neon lights, right? And then give me 5 suggestions for each category. So it should spit out 5, 5, 5, right? For each of the 9 categories. Let's see. Of course. Let's see where it is. Vegas Voller, Sin City Sage, Neon Nights. That's a good one. Drew Vegas $. So cool. Now, this is super important. $. It won't be able, I won't be able to have that as my @ symbol. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, well, why can't I just have my name? Well, you can have just your name, like your first and last name. Where's mine? Like Andrew Schroeder, right? But the reason I don't use Andrew Schroeder as my handle is because it's probably taken on at least, it's taken on all social media, right? But I actually own andrewschroeder.com. Right? I own it because it's real estate and I can do whatever I want with it. I don't have it pointed at anything right now. But so Detroit Drizzle. Now, this is important to note. Detroit, notice that it's a location, right? The reason why you don't want a location for your handle is, what if you move, right? So originally, when I was promoting hardcore in Las Vegas, my handle was Drew Vegas. The reason why I moved from Drew Vegas to eventually Detroit Drew, and then Drew Life Coach, then Drew Success Coach, right? That's my path. Is because I don't live in Las Vegas anymore. I haven't in over 2 years, but I still have a brand in Las Vegas, and people still text me and call me very regularly to get into the nightclubs. And Drew Success Coach is pretty broad term, so I went with that. And so you don't exactly want a location, okay? Now, when it comes to letter or numbers in the name, got to remember to alternative spellings. You have to really watch out, right, with these, because I can't put a $sign as my handle. And also, when it comes to like a platform like Instagram, right, is that if you want to be verified, it has to match your name, but the handle is your stage name. That's all that we really care about, is the stage name. And notice that Drew Success Coach, 3 words. You don't want too much, because the way that the brain works is 1, 2, 3, too many. 1, 2, 3, many. That's usually how the brain works. So when it comes to remembering things, I'll give you a quick story that I was just in Austin about a week and a half ago, and instead of saying, yeah, so my handle is, young boy NBA, then I would have to, like, people aren't going to really remember that all the time, and it's not going to be very easy to remember. But people, Drew Success Coach, that's it. And then it's really that simple. Drew Success Coach. It's a lot easier than NBA. Is it NBA young boy, or is it young boy NBA, or is it just NBA underscore, all one word, and it's that simple. And so that is my name, and that is my stage name. Okay. Now that you have this, now that you have all these different names, some of these might work, some of them might not, but if it doesn't, you can hit regenerate, and then it'll spit out all these new things, all these new names. Eminpak. Ooh, that's pretty cool. And then once you pick out a few that you like, check on all social media, right? Starting with YouTube, make sure that you have the @ symbol, and then the name. So, and if it's not, so we can do Victory Venom, okay? No space. Okay, now let's see if this is available. Someone's already got it. I wouldn't use that specifically because YouTube is something that you really want when it comes to building your brand, because that's where the longevity is. So, Sin City Sage. Let's check this out. Sin City Sage. Nope, its page isn't available. That means it's free to use. So, TikTok is another thing that you have to remember, that it has the @ symbol. Sin City Sage, is it taken? It is available. Okay. So, Facebook, notice it doesn't have the @ symbol. And I check all of these first, right here. Is it available? Ah, someone took it. And the thing is, when it comes to names, right? If I really wanted this name, there's some people that will put its, right? But when I'm promoting it, when I'm out in public and and someone asks me, oh, what's your Facebook? And I could say, it's Sin City Sage. And then the real question is it's spelt out, or is it's Sin City Sage, right? So we don't want that, but I'm going to keep going just for the sake of time. Also here, let's see if Sin City Sage is available. And it is taken. It looks like by the same person too. Maybe. Who knows? And then there's also Who Is, which is where I buy my domains. Domain URL, sincitysage.com. Let's see. But basically you just want to go through. Oh, look, it's available. So one thing that you can do if it's not available, let's go to, say, like GaryVee.com. And this will tell you if a domain is taken or not. That's why I love this website so much. Okay, GaryVee.com. Now, it depends if people paid for privacy or not. But you can go, see, he paid to be private. But if it's not, sometimes it's by like the register, or it'll say Wild West domains. Those are people that just pretty much hold these ransom. And then you can go to wildwest.com or wildwestdomains.com and then buy that specific domain if you want it. Or I can reach out to like GaryVee.com, go to the contacts, and then say, hey, this is what you have. Hey, this is what you have. You have a name that I really want, and then offer to buy it. But actually, you don't have to, like, when it comes down to it, like, it's easier to just find another name, because if I wanted to go and message this person right here, I can say, hey, I'll pay you $200 for this name. It just depends on how bad you want this specific name, Sin City Sage, which honestly, you can just have it regenerate a whole new list until you find one that you actually like. You can have it regenerate, I think, up to like 4 times or more. So that is it. That's how you find a really good brand name. And although I didn't exactly find one specifically that's going to work, just using this video, this is a method that you can use if you just play around with it, because I don't want to spend too much time on, trying to find it, but you understand the core fundamentals now on what a brand is and how to associate with it. And like when it comes to images, like a profile picture, so specifically, so that way when I find you on Instagram and I'm like, okay, I want to find this person on YouTube now, and then I look you up on YouTube, but you got a different profile picture, it might get me to second guess if that's the real you or not. And that's what you don't want, is to meet for the person, your viewer, to second guess themselves. So, next steps for you is to scroll down and highlight that whole thing. When it comes to the ChatGPT prompt, find a stage name that's going to work for you. Even if you already have like a certain name that's across all of your handles, does it have the underscores? Does it have the periods? Does it have the exact parameters so that way everything matches? And if it doesn't, try and make it work towards where it will. You want to skip out on things that like official or the real, because when I hear the real, I think, well, what I personally think is I'm associated to the real Donald Trump on social media. And we don't want that either. I don't want to be associated with Donald Trump or being a Donald Trump supporter, right? And whether if you politics or whatever, it doesn't matter. And also official. A lot of people, they use official. Official doesn't really mean anything, and it's just more characters to type out. And also, how many times have you actually seen someone that is, we know this is the official person for the name, but it's someone else's name? Does that make sense? Like, the famous person is what I would assume is the official, right? But when I look up official, it's someone else's name, and they want to be the official and they want to take the brand. Okay. Now, you want to, if you're dead set on a certain thing, like a very generic, broad term, like kitten or kitty, right? A female rapper named Kitty, right? So, what can you add to it for SEO purposes, which is search engine optimization? So when I look up on Google, kitty, what's going to show up? A bunch of pictures of cats, right? So what can I add to it? If I look up stallion, the first thing that's probably going to pop up is probably not Megan Thee Stallion. It's probably going to be a bunch of pictures of horses, or maybe even both. But we want to hone in on search engine optimization, and that is figuring out a brand name that you can just own and it's just easy to use. And remember that this isn't so much of a big idea, and you can break these rules, but the more that you follow these rules, the more it's just going to work in your benefit, and it's just going to work in your favor. Okay? So don't make too big of a deal about it, because it's not exactly, like I said, it's not exactly the name itself. It's what you associate to the name through marketing. Okay? So, action items, figure out a stage name, claim it on all social media. Don't forget the URL, so that way when you go to collect the email, or if you go to get fans to book and go on tour, you know, you already have it, the URL, and you just own everything. And then guess what? It's so much easier for you to win trademark, and it'll be harder for people to steal your brand name when you're already big. Even if you're a really small creator or a really small musician, it's only a matter of time if you apply these principles that I'm showing you in this course. When you start to see exponential growth, you'll see it. Okay? And you're already set. You don't have to worry about claiming everything on social media. But when there's a new social media that comes out, like, say, Blue Sky, that's also made by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, or, if Snapchat comes out with another iteration, right, or another side project, like if Snapchat decided to come out with their own version of Twitter or Threads or Blue Sky, then you can just already have that. You can already have that brand name associated to yourself. Go claim it real quick, and make sure that you're not one of those type of people that just claim social media handles just to claim it and then they don't do anything with it. I actually use my brand names. Okay, so don't just go around hogging a bunch of names and you're like, yes, real estate. But actually posting on the social media platforms, so that way when your name is big, it's easier to find you than to not find you, and it makes it that much easier for your fans to find you. Okay? So, pick out a handle, and then after you've already picked out the handle, you've picked out the brand name, you've got the website, like you don't even have to like really build the website out yet. But also, super important, check to see if it's trademarked. That's just going to help you out. So that way it's going to save you a lot of headache. You can go to, and I'll also have a link down below that you can check to see if something is trademarked or not. And that's just something, give yourself a peace of mind to make sure that everything is all good. So that way, when you start putting out music and you start to get known, people aren't thinking that you're taking their brand. Next up, after all of this, then we start booking shows.